So now that we're recording ourselves, let me ask you this. How does it feel to know, without any doubts, without any, reasonable doubt, we have numbers to prove it, that our opinions are wrong?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Trash Cats Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
And today we're watching the fires burn. It's the day after the election, and the American Empire has officially fallen.
We live in a bad place with bad people.
It's pretty fucked out here.
Have you all right, well, first off, this is going to be our copium episode. This is going to be a lot of
sure.
coping and sneezing since America has completely fallen apart. Have you started crafting your power armor yet?
No, but I have taken steps to, I have turned it into a spite inspiration of like, I'm inspired of like, okay, at first it was like sick to my stomach, just like, this is fucked, to, I have to be ready to, attack anyone I have to.
Yeah.
And here's another fun part of how this episode's going to go. Usually, I think you're the antagonist to a lot of our conversations, and often willing to say more extreme or
let's get
heavy
radical.
thoughts, mostly to I don't know about mostly, but to a comedic effect,
To evoke
yeah, exactly.
more intellectual discussion and a deeper understanding. Right?
Yeah. So, and I think I'm usually the one that's like, and I might hold, that's my famous catchphrase is,
Yeah, that you have your exasperation sound effect, but
exactly.
typically you play the straight man. You reel us in. You're the yin to the yang.
Yeah. So here's the problem.
Okay.
I'm going to need to either have you take that role today, or it's going to be a little unhinged because I'm.
Oh, that's easy.
Fueled.
I got that. I already crafted my Tony Stark power armor. I'm ready to go full Iron Man against this country.
Just fucking take off and float off into space right now.
Exactly. And fortunately, I have a lifetime supply of copium. Okay. My hatred is so strong. There's nothing.
IVs hooked in both arms. Just
There's nothing we can't cope with today, sir. Let's do it. You go full doomer, and I'll keep our heart beating.
Full doomer is I feel like there's definitely it's mostly true. There's the other part that does have is finding some little bit of inspiration. There is a light. It's you picture a candle and it's like it's going out. It's not out entirely, but it's like just the smallest gust of wind, just a butterfly flaps its wings, and that light of hope is gone. It's just it's partially also the depression that was existing before anyways.
Here's the thing. I feel like we truly are at a crossroads, right? We're fascism / populism versus democracy, and we're at a crossroads between hopium and doomerism, and there's two distinct paths we can go down, and I can absolutely fake enthusiasm for either. I will say, it's a very, very bad sign when you hear the left unironically praising or adopting accelerationist talking points.
Yeah.
When they're like, guys, it's so bad, but that means next time maybe it'll be better because it'll have been so bad. Like they're actually talking about acceleration as talking points. But let me preface it this way. I believe there's two paths we can go down. I think they're both kind of worth playing out. Do you want to open with that, or do you want to start with a "How was your week" kind of deal?
Let me ask you this, Stephen. How was your week?
Okay. Not great.
Well, thank you for lifting us up out of that. Thank you for bringing us, to a new plateau for us to, sit and rest our feet upon.
This is an internet checkpoint, guys. Take a deep breath. So this drops a week or so, or even 2 weeks after the election. But right now, our current timeline is less than 24 hours after this election. So yeah. Feel a little empathy for us. Be a little more patient with us than normal.
Yeah. Here's the other fun part. We're making our listeners relive the day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It'd be like a little time capsule in 2 weeks.
So my week, I don't like how invested I kind of am by some of the things going on, but I feel like the people that aren't are exactly why we're in the position we are in. Mm-hmm. But aside, if you got to take the bus to work in the morning, you're still taking the bus to work. So life is lame outside of this lame shit. So I'm fine. How are you, good sir?
Pretty fucked. Pretty. Yeah. So this week I had scheduled off of work to take a break, just have 7 straight days with no real expectations. And I mean, it's partially chill. I've kind of just been getting little stuff done here and there, but it's mostly just been a den of depression as I try to catch up on rest and break into hobbies that I want to do, or little projecty things, and maybe get a little bit started and then give up.
That's not good.
Not give up, but I put it down and then think about doing something else, and then I do that, and then it's been, a whole day has passed since I wanted to start doing something. I wanted to draw yesterday, but I was way too stressed out. I'll give myself a pass on that.
Yeah, I actually was working on art during it, and I was like, this just is not the right vibe or whatever. So I feel it. I feel like whenever you actually get time off to do stuff, I always feel like your foil is a passion thing, where you want to do the things, but you're not really feeling it. And it might just be because you're too tired.
There's partially that. It's there are things I definitely want to do, but I mean, especially right now, it's just I feel like I'm just kind of catching up with myself and
healing.
Yeah, taking some time to collect my thoughts, and I feel like that's more important than in my head, right now, my headspace. I mean, even as a couple of days ago, getting my head right and focused on, okay, this week is going to end and I will have to go back to work.
Yep.
Make use of this time to get my head right and make the most of this that's going to carry with me through the rest of the season here.
Yeah.
And I think I'm doing well at that.
Good.
I did go out and I was going to go to the grocery store yesterday after I voted, but I decided fuck it. I woke up early. I'm just going to go home and rest for a little bit, and then I'll go out. And then I didn't feel like it. So I did it this morning. Weird energy at the Kroger today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I realized as I went to the Kroger that the closest one near us is in a very red neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time in a while, and I maybe ever, that I felt like I shouldn't be here.
Bro, we're actual aliens right now.
Yeah. We can get deported tomorrow.
It is crazy. We're going to touch on it later, I think. But, like, memes aside, being what I'm dubbing now is a rejectionist, okay? Fuck atheism, fuck agnosticism. I'm full rejectionism, okay? Doesn't matter what dumbass beliefs people have or God's real or not. All that matters is that you reject it all, right?
Okay.
I think we fall into that category. And truly, at like all memes aside, it really is the smallest minority in this country. Like when we walk out of our house, 7 out of 10 people we see are fucking idiots that believe in magic tricks and sky daddies and terrible political things. Like,
yeah,
we are aliens, and it's so fucking stupid, and it feels like very stolen valor, but the beliefs we both hold as self-evident are very much the minority opinion, like the max minority opinion.
I think I might be contradicting myself from a previous episode because I feel like I've made a similar analogy and I've had empathy for this type of person, but it's the idea of, I forget where I was going with this exactly, but religious people in general that like, it's one thing if it's like, oh, I believe in this, I have this belief, but it's like the people that go from one belief to another belief, and like they're so undecided voters of religion.
The
it's
holy
like
grasshoppers.
Yeah, you can't even like it's almost worse in a way of like you're not getting the like it's one thing if it's like you're bought into this and you're convinced and you're convicted with it and you stand by it. But if it's like you're so fragile with it, like that defeats the entire purpose of something in faith. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know why I brought that up. I just got angry about it and had to say something. That's a lot of what I'm going to be bringing today, of just like
exasperation. I'll keep us on the tracks. Okay. Honorable mentions. Anything?
Yes. There's nothing honorable.
You know where these tracks are going, right?
Yeah. I do feel like I've
the internment
watched.
Yeah. We know where these tracks go.
I know I've listened to something cool or seen something cool this week. It's not.
Well, you gave
front of my mind anymore.
Me the recommendation to listen to, because I've dabbled, but I hadn't in a long time. You told me to listen to, I forget the album name, because it's a very new metal Absa something. Between the Buried and Me, what album?
Oh, yeah. Automata 2.
And it was very good. I liked it a lot.
Good. I'm glad. Oh, yeah, and that you had me listen to Mr. Bungle.
Because that your album is a direct evolution of Mr. Bungle's California album.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of
so good.
Musically like fusiony and jazzy and all over the place and very proggy. Yeah, that's it. It's definitely my jam. That's the kind of shit that I can get behind.
I was excited that you
I was surprised by how much that album as a whole reminded me of Buckethead.
I haven't done a ton of Buckethead. I kind of got what you were saying, but I just am not fully in tune enough to.
Both in the way of like
guitar style a bit.
A little bit of that, but also how it was just kind of like all over the place, and there would be like kind of like these transitions into things you don't expect. There's a subverting of expectations. There's just a grooviness to it that you can just you can put this on and just kind of let it roll, and it kind of creates the atmosphere behind you.
Yeah. So I think we talked a little bit, but I enjoyed Autonoma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And then I was like so excited. I hadn't listened to California in a while. And here's my problem. I feel I live my life like a corpse, okay? I'm the ultimate major depressive stoic, okay? It's so easy to be a stoic when you don't feel anything, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm realizing the true reason I don't listen to music since I've been sober is I just don't think I can handle it. I ended up listening to the album like 5 times in a row, back to back. And like within like the first minute of hearing the music I like, whether it's like black metal or like this album in particular is special to me for certain reasons, and it is just a great album. I legitimately want to fucking kill myself. Like within like 60 seconds, it's like a counter starts and then I'm like racing to die. And I just can't help it. Like music, I really feel it a lot.
Now, do you mean in the way that like it takes you back to a headspace that you had previously, or like you can't have what you had then?
It's both. It really, I mean, there is the nostalgia part, but I feel it now too. And it's like with like drugs really let me feel shit. I think I used to feel shit a lot more, but I really could emotionally like tune into things that I just feel like either sad or just like angry, sober-minded. And whether it's drugs or music or art in general, but music really is a different experience. When I like tap into those things, I feel like out of control. It's like almost embarrassing, but more it feels so serious. It's like there has to be a good adjective. When you feel something so genuinely, you like lose the ability to feel embarrassed. There has to be some sort of word that fits that. But and redemptive is a word from our last.
It absolutely is. I looked it up like right after you said it.
But it's an adjective.
I just never got a chance to pop it in there.
That was because I think I was still using it wrong. But yeah, I don't know. For better, I don't feel like it's good how my mind is sober, but I can like keep the pieces together. I feel like very
wanting to kill yourself after listening to music you like is pretty fun.
Dude, it's like crazy, dude. I feel like it's like it feels like my brain chemistry is just like exploding, where like it's very exciting. Like if it is very thrilling, but I feel so weird to feel like, well, I just can't handle the things I like anymore.
Yeah. I realize that I have kind of manufactured some of that for myself. At least the part, not the, wanting to kill myself kind of thing, but the kind of like, it's like I don't want to listen to music. Like nothing sounds good until I'm listening to it, and then sometimes like I might hear something that's like, all right, this is working for me. I can work with this, but it's like it's so far and few in between.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because I don't really get a lot of like influence of new music. I have in the last couple of years, but like I kind of fall into a thing, and like when I find a new band I like, I go down the rabbit hole, and then I listen to all their stuff, and then it's like, okay, now this is old to me. Now this is like,
yeah, the newness is novelty, and
yeah, the novelty's kind of gone, but I also realize I listen to music when I work and when I drive. And those are the two main times I listen to music. I don't really listen to music at home. because unless I'm like doing housework, and even then it's kind of rare, I usually just put on a podcast or something while I'm doing that.
Here's where I think the issue is that I think most people, especially as they get older, kind of fall into that category of like they only listen to music passively or when they get like seduced into it by hearing something. I think like I used to have such a massive like literally millions of tracks back when hard drives were expensive as shit. Like I really
I got a lot of music from those hard drives.
So, yeah. But I feel like to be very actively engaged in music, you have to really like live it. Whether like in the old days, it's like you're constantly flipping records or you're constantly online looking for new things, exploring. And if you're not, it's just the less time you're engaged, the more you start to rely on things you previously liked, and it's harder and harder to get excited about new things.
I used to be able to like put on headphones and like listen to music and like just listen to an album or something, just start to finish, like not get up, not take the headphones off, not really doing anything. Maybe I'm drawing, but like
just explore.
Yeah, and like just enjoy it. And like I can't imagine sitting in one place for that long without having like at least two other things that I could be doing.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Fucking responsibilities, man.
Yeah.
Getting old fucking sucks.
It's strange. I know we've talked about it before, but I did see I don't know exactly what it was. It was some sort of research or article about research that there was some scientific confirmation of my theory / idea that the perception of time truly does change with age, where it truly does feel faster because the proportion of your life that's lived has radically shifted, that your perception of how much time has elapsed changes.
Yeah, it gets to a day is not as long as you think it is. A week's not as long as you thought it was. Months, years go by, and you're like, fuck, that's nothing.
You've already lived all these years now where each day is a smaller proportion of time, opposed to like when you're 10 years old, each day is such a larger proportion of what is your total life that your perception just slowly warps.
Got a 6-year loan payment set up for my car. That's nothing. I'll get that paid off in no time, or I'll pay that off in 6 years, and I'll still have it for another 6 or 10. That's nothing.
So weird, man.
It's just 6 years.
All right, you want to do the two paths?
Yeah, let's walk down them. All
right. Do you want the good path? Or the bad path or the worst path?
Let's look down. Let's go down the worst one first.
Okay. Worst path. Trump ends up being in decent health physically, but his clear dementia is spiraling, right? We have RFK full of brainworms as our ministry, our health czar, which is a serious possibility. Trump's already publicly saying that will be the case. And RFK's talking about repealing all vaccines, including fucking polio. So we go back 100 years in the health world, right? We have Elon Musk in some sort of seat position. And keep in mind, the last time Trump appointed people in these type of roles, he thought just by declaring it made it a legal position, and they never did any formalities or paperwork, which later was a problem for him with one of his lawyers. We have crazy people surrounded him because there are very few people willing to stick their necks out there and resist him, and most people will probably be happy because America has truly shown its true colors that we hate women and gays. That's just, that's America.
Yeah.
And immigrants are only okay if they vote for fascism.
Yeah.
If they do that, they're cool.
That's what the Declaration of Independence said.
The absolute worst case scenario is with controlling two branches of power that he could do some crazy shit like start a monarchy and appoint his son as the next president when he's finally tired of ruling with an iron fist, but most likely it won't happen. More realistically, we will just forfeit all aid to Ukraine and let Russia take it. Trump supports Israel, but that also means, because he doesn't give a fuck about Muslims, that it'll probably just make things worse, but semi the norm in Palestine, Israel. China will continue fucking us. Our economy is going to be throttled by these idiotic tariffs that Americans apparently don't realize we pay the tariff, It's outrageous, bro.
It's outrageous, and it's crazy how widely that's not understood.
It's like 75% of people don't understand.
And it's been the main talking point of, I mean, to be fair,
for the last week or so.
For the last couple weeks at least. Like, it's crazy.
It's up there. Those are all bad. The most realistic things are going to be a lot of bans on like trans surgery and trans care type stuff. Gay marriage could be at risk. There's a lot in their tentative plans or talking points about banning a lot of gay stuff. The two biggest things are potential majority of states or federal abortion bans. That is by far the one I probably care about the most, considering every woman in my life that I'm not related to has been crying all day today.
Yeah.
And we're going to be at a really weird point if they end up, which I don't think they will in totality, but there will probably be some. But if they go about the deporting of 20-some million quote-unquote illegals across the country, that it takes, keep in mind, $100,000 per person to get them out of the country by force. But we very realistically could see, I'd say, various aspects of these things take place in various parts of the country to various degrees, but there's very real possibility, and Muslim bans and shit like that. But there's a very real possibility in like the next 6 months we're watching on TV of doors getting kicked down and people getting dragged out of the country. It's a very real possibility. And porn bans.
Yeah.
And freedom of speech laws changing. Like
start downloading it now, boys. Yeah. Get your hard drives and
yeah, dude. I unironically started downloading porn for the first time in my life, like 2 years ago. I'm like, you know what? This is absurd. They keep taking everything away. I'm just gonna start stockpiling because who the fuck knows?
Start stockpiling, and then, but don't watch any of it right away. Like, watch other stuff.
You gotta keep the novelty.
Yeah, it's gotta be fresh. It's
and never upload because that will be a crime. Okay,
yeah.
Just download quietly. Don't make accounts. That's the worst route. I don't feel full like dystopian or like doomer to the extent like all of these things are going to happen and it's going to be complete mayhem, but more that parts of these things will happen and America's going to become a lot more isolationist. We're going to lose a lot of power and control to places like Russia and China, and the economy is going to take some serious fucking hits in that process due to all of his very, very dumb plans.
His big fuckery.
Yeah. That's
and
worst case scenario in my mind.
Yeah. So I mean, and you had pointed out, and I think there's at least a point of like, I don't know, just something to consider in this. I don't think it's gonna end up playing out this way because the circumstances aren't the same. But his general, what's the right word for this? Incompetence.
Well,
is
speaking of which, do you want the less bad path? Because incompetence is a big part of that.
It is a big. Okay, I mean, I think the difference thing to keep in mind is also he's got control. He's got, it's a red house, red Senate.
They can do, and they can pass anything they want in theory.
Yeah, and he's got the fucking Supreme Court in his back pocket.
And they're likely going to get 2 more picks, which means in our lifetimes we are pretty unlikely to ever have a Democratic Supreme Court.
It's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. But go ahead, tell me about the not as bad path.
The not as bad path, which I would say is a slightly lower percent chance, is that Trump clearly has demonstrated, even when he had 2 branches of control in the past, he got nothing done.
Yeah.
He got none of his plans done.
Yeah, follow through on his promises is very weak.
Was so low. So now he's included all these other... He's lost all the capable people in his leadership party. So
we have a bunch of wackadoos.
Yeah. All these different factions of Russian agents like fucking Elon Musk and RFK. Like, these people are bound to argue with each other at some point. There will be feuds and falling offs, and I see it as very possible. Not that much gets done, and he was only motivated to get in to stay out of prison. He didn't want to die in prison because all of his crime prosecutions, they're all gone. He's pardoned on everything. And there's a very real chance all the January 6 people get let out and shit.
So fucking crazy.
We get, what's his name? Enrico, whatever, Tario, fucking Proud Boys losers out of prison and shit. So there's a chance he's very incompetent, but primarily because he just doesn't care. Like, he just wanted to save himself. He might just want to golf a lot. He clearly doesn't give a fuck about the things the traditional Republican Party cares about. He might be incredibly, incredibly ineffective, and he gets a lot of credit for things like the economy doing well, just coming off of the economy's doing great. Unemployment is great. The stock market is great. Even if he fucks it up, like today, everything spiked way, way up because they know there's going to be so little regulation. There's going to be so much environmental damage, all that shit. But Google's not as likely to get broke up. All these companies lower taxes and shit. So they're going crazy. I made a shit ton of money off crypto today. But he's probably going to get looked at far more the less he does, the more favorably he will be looked at. And hopefully the less he does, the more ineffective he will be at wielding his power, which also is scary for the next election, because unless Republicans feel consequences of their deplorable, disgusting behavior, it's unlikely they'd learn any lessons, and it's not very clear if the Democratic Party does either. So that's the less bad path, and it's still pretty terrible.
On that note about feeling consequences, I messaged you... AKA bullets. Yeah. I messaged you earlier today, and I think I said, we did the episode a little while ago about the percentage of people on the planet that we hate.
Yeah.
And I need to make an addendum to that.
Do it. Let the hate grow, young Padawan.
So, if you look at numbers, if you look at the total count of vote situation, Trump got less votes than he got in 2020. He got like 3 million or so less votes, I think. The Democratic Party got, how much did I text you? It was 14.5 million
less
votes.
I think that number has shifted quite a bit. There's no, keep in mind, we're 24 hours out. We don't have the final numbers. I think that has changed a bit, but it is, to your point, Democrats just did not show up.
Yeah.
Especially young Democrats. And I will say, I will push a little bit of blame. Young women did not come out nearly as much as was expected. And minorities on the left also did not, or minorities in general tended to go for Trump, unfortunately.
So I'm willing to hold the, during that episode, we also measured the amount of hate.
Yeah.
We had, and I'm willing to hold that for now, because I'm somewhat conflicted. It's the trolley problem. Inaction is action, but how much and why? For the people who didn't show up, it's a complicity in anything that becomes of this next term.
Oh yeah.
It's you saw the convicted felon, you saw the convicted rapist, you saw someone who, especially from a Democratic perspective, you voted Democratic 4 years ago. It's not that you're not in some of the zeitgeist of you see the media and the different journalists and whatnot. You see the news. You're not just getting the sycophant version of it. You see that, like, he doesn't care about the religion shit.
No.
He doesn't care about anything but himself. And you still were like,
that's my boy.
Yeah.
Teflon Don.
Yeah. It's like, you might as well, it's like, I was going to say, it's not the same as saying, like, I'm voting for him, but you might as well have.
Yeah.
By not voting against him, you have allowed him.
Absolutely.
So
I don't know how much you've seen. A lot of people are putting this on the Israel-Palestine conflict. They're blaming Biden even more than Harris, but that the Democratic establishment is clearly pro-genocide, didn't give a fuck enough about Palestine, and why would we support them? My understanding is none of that is shown in the numbers. Foreign policy did not move the needle for the left at all. It does a bit for Republicans, but not much. But
I feel like that from what I heard, that was coming from like a lot of younger people, but it wasn't
weren't going to vote anyway.
Well, either that or younger people, but it still begs the question of like, yes, that sucks.
But they're also half wrong. Like that, there is something to some of that, but they are mostly just wrong and stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
But even if we chalk it up to like, that's a shitty situation, and I'm not saying you have to love the candidate to vote for him.
But Trump's worse still.
Yeah,
on it.
by miles, by leagues.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we don't want to vote for the people that aren't going to help end this genocide enough. So instead, let's vote for the guy that is promising to increase it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why?
Like how by taking the inaction route of not voting by protest or by laziness, you have made the situation worse. You have damaged, the people that you sought to help more than, anyone was doing at that time.
And I think because of that, there's a very interesting argument right now that the left needs to take a page from the Republican playbook of, instead of trying to be the big tent party, we need to start being a lot more exclusionary and cutting a lot of the people that are distorting the ideology right the fuck out and making the lines, glow a lot brighter of like where the fuck people need to be at type of thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, I realized the feeling I had earlier today when I, woke up and I first saw the announcement that he had been elected, there was a feeling that was not quite the same, but was I had only felt it one other time. And it was when my grandparents died. And it was a trauma response that you do when you're hit with new and like you're grieving suddenly kind of situation where you do this thing of like replaying the last, like what led to this? What happened? How did this happen? And you kind of get stuck in the hamster wheel of that.
Can I, all right, I'm taking a internet rest point. Okay. I'm offering the copium. Okay. Take a couple pufferoonies. All right. This is, I'm going to offer the cope, and then I think we should take a little gander into what I think actually went wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Here's the thing. When we walk outside, we are opposed completely to 7 out of 10 people we interact with. This country is at least a 65% self-identifying Christian nation. Even more than that are religious in one way or another. Half of everyone over half is Republican that vote for despicable strongman figures. So my copium is that I feel like we're empathetic people and we try to care. I feel like we're both kind of pessimistic, but we try to be hopeful, or at least not like full destructive, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is we've always hated what this country is, even if we don't want to feel that way. And I don't think anything's any different today than it was last week. And, it's easy. I know I've said a lot. People are like 50-50, good and bad. That still could be true, but part of that 50% of the quote unquote good are also so fucking stupid they'll side with bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, I
easily strayed from the light.
Yeah, just straight. They're willing to be genocided just because they thought they'd get a nice train ride or something.
Yeah.
My point is that nothing is actually worse, because if this many people are willing to believe these things, if anything, we just should have hated them a lot more clearly before. Yeah. Nothing has changed.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that, and I feel that. I think it took a few hours for that part to kick in of like, okay. And I told you I went to Kroger, like that did kind of help. When I first got there, I was like, this feels awkward. As I walk in through the door and like right on or when I pull into the parking lot, and there's like right on the grass outside, there's a bunch of like, Trump signs. Which one of them, by the way, this was funny. What it said, Trump safety, Kamala crime. I was like, he's literally a convicted felon and rapist. There's no
prosecutor, like, sweet. And to think, like, I'm a pro-crime guy. For these to be the points, like, for it to, like, have everything be, like, so topsy-turvy that the party of law and order has decided, fuck this prosecutor because she's a woman. We're going with the 34-time convicted felon that is facing countless more charges and a life in prison. We're going with him.
GOP can never make that claim ever again now.
They are.
It's fucking crazy. But to that, point that you made of like, yeah, it's not, the world's not any different. These people were always garbage people.
The material world very well made change that like we
yes
could see very real harms come to people we care about, but oh my god, I can't fucking talk, bro. It's crazy. Belief wise, nothing has changed. Idea wise, people are as dumb and believe stupid shit as they ever have. Maybe a little bit worse, but our opposition to what other people believe in has not changed.
It's just, it feels so strange to me that, I guess it doesn't feel that strange. I was going to say it feels...
It is surreal, though.
There's a word I'm looking for that... surreal might be the thing, where somehow... I was going to say that empathy is the less popular choice, but I don't think that that's even the case. I don't think it comes from that, because I'm honestly confused. I'm sure for some people it is, but I think for a lot of people, they're too fucking stupid to understand why they're wrong, or like why it was a fucked up choice.
Yeah. I think people similar to us, part of what our mistake has been is too much empathy. Too much, like, we're empathetic people, but
we're empathetic to people that don't deserve it.
I don't think we are, but I think a lot of people. I feel like
I'm
both
guilty of it.
I think you are a little bit, but we're both pretty harsh still. I think I'm very vocal in like the death and murder is not inherently wrong. Okay, I truly believe that there are
there is an argument to be made,
but I don't mean it like that, like in the like radical anarchist way of like, oh, destroy your enemies at all costs. But
right,
in the
of course.
like, I don't think, oh, they were misled and they just don't understand. Like there's elements of that being true, but there is also like there are a lot of people that are just dumb, bad people that don't deserve empathy. Like that truly, by any means possible, should be crushed out of our society. That should be excised as the cancer they are.
It's
top of my list is religious people.
Yeah, it's trolley problem shit. If you're on a bridge or you're on a building and you see on the building across from you, there's a man with a big goofy plunger detonator thing, and you for a fact that he's about to push the plunger down and blow up half the city, and you have a sniper rifle and you can take the shot. Is it wrong to take the shot and save all those people and help people?
I mean, you always really probably should take the shot, but now we're walking down the slippery line of endorsing torture, which
yeah.
I mean, we can argue about it if you want, but I think I can win.
I think we've touched on that before. We don't need to get into that today.
Yeah, I have revised my position a little bit. Sam Harris's argument on collateral damage has been slightly convincing to me, but ultimately, it just shouldn't be a systematic thing.
Yeah.
Individuals should probably do what's best for more individuals, but as a system, you should never allow such
there are case by case.
Yeah, and
things that are outliers that can't. Yeah,
or if like I don't want the state saying anytime you see someone with a bomb, you have to shoot them to save other people, but more that individuals should be willing to sacrifice themselves too. Even if it's against the law or the rule or whatever, you should be willing to sacrifice yourself to save people, like a social enforcement of sorts, or belief in each other or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Is there enough copium there to sustain you, and / do you want to go down the reasons that we did lose. The real reasons that the real media is not saying.
In this scenario now, we're the fake news?
No, but a huge part of the problem is alternative media.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you want to go down my reason?
By alternative media, you mean opinionated
similar
and biased media.
Say again, sorry.
Opinionated, biased, and factual media. Media delivering things in a way that's maybe has a fact embedded into it, but
my current definition for alternative media is any form of media. It can even be fucking Let's Plays, right? Any form of media where the creators have no accountability. So it can be from as simple as somebody playing a video game that never talks about their politics, but everyone knows which way they lean, to fucking Rogan intentionally and unintentionally lying constantly, to full-on diabolical Elon Musk paid Russian assets and tenant media intentionally spreading
propaganda,
disinformation.
Yeah.
The whole range. It's just alternative media. It's just any time the creator has no accountability or transparency into their intentions and funding. That combination of the three things. Huge part of things, but I do have bigger reasons. I feel like the mainstream media, they just don't understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything specific, or do you want to go down? Are you copium enough to endure?
Yeah. Fucking shoot the barrel at me. Let's go.
Okay. The biggest thing with young voters across the spectrum, but it specifically hurt the left, is a lack of hope, which really is just pure messaging. The economy is better than it's pretty much ever been. Stock market's great. Unemployment is great. Worker rights was getting the max support from Biden and shit. Like, they lost messaging. So it's a hope problem a bit, but all of that comes from, there's like the influence of alternative media, propaganda, all that shit. But the real, my first big point is simply that we lost the internet. We just lost the battleground of the entire internet. Mm-hmm. We got destroyed by countless Republican pundits. And that there's tons of reasons for it. But if a senator on the left goes on a podcast, they do great. You have a couple people talking about it, like a couple big podcasts, a couple streamer, whatever the fuck. If a senator from the right goes on something like a Rogan or whatever, every single Republican pundit will be in perfect line repeating the talking points.
Yeah, not only that, because you also have the left-leaning people doing that as well. Like
no,
any like independent journalists. What I'm saying is, like, if you have a Republican goes on a thing, and
then they also are talking about it.
Yeah, they're also going to show it. They're going to talk about it. They're getting that airtime.
Yeah, that is definitely an element, but it's more like. So my whole thing, it boils down to, is just coolness factor. People think Trump is cool.
Just fucking crazy.
It's so disgusting. It's so gross.
He's 80 years old. He poops himself.
Literally, he farted through his entire trial that he got found guilty.
Yeah.
For paying a porn star with campaign funds. Jesus. And the whole time he's farting as he's asleep. And it's all recorded.
Fucked up.
But that's the Don, baby.
Yeah, that guy kicks ass.
And
he goes on dementia rambles and calls it the weave.
It's because he comes off like a gangster, and America likes gangsters, right? It's like that superficial.
Plus, he's hip with the time he sells NFTs.
But the Republican apparatus online completely dominates the media. And the mainstream media a bit, too. Fox definitely took a hit with the Dominion lawsuit stuff, but the internet is completely dictated by Republicans because Democrats are not cool. Like, we are very unsuccessful, right? As a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just having fun or whatever. But how many other people like us have any voice at all, any following or influence?
Mm-hmm.
There's literally no one.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is online that has anything remotely similar to us?
Couldn't think of one.
There's no one. But any niche you're in on the right, there are 100 other podcasts, shows, forums, whatever the fuck, groups like Twitter Spaces, WhatsApp shits, like Discord. I mean, it is like huge, no matter what branch of the right you're into. Like, we have truly lost the internet. And it's all about what looks cool. Nothing to do with policy at all.
Well, let me ask you this. Do the Republicans or the Democrats have 4chan? Who has 4chan?
Republicans.
Oh, okay.
Like, their whole thing is, the whole website is dedicated to genociding trans people. That's basically 4chan.
Oh, cool. Kick ass.
And there's a ton of funny stuff on there, too. Like, there's interesting and, like, real valid shit on 4chan. But the majority of the people on there, that is, like, they have an entire alternative slang.
It's a huge troll space.
Yeah. There is real shit, though. It's just
the
majority of people on there, like, literally just want to kill gay people.
It's pretty fucking
And it's huge. That's what QAnon, right? Like, that's Elon Musk was posting QAnon this week. Like, that's those people. Like, we lost the internet.
Yeah.
And so much of it is from
right on that.
Like, think of how many people on the left like would find us despicable because we're not like quite soft enough.
We're not soft enough men for these. Yeah.
It's like annoyingly true though. Like, we've cannibalized our presence and control online. So that's my two big things. It's internet and the religious vote. Christians voted for Trump crazy.
Oh, of course.
The Jews did go so far a bit more towards Kamala, but not overwhelming, which is crazy considering the position they're in. And Muslims went super fucking Trump. And that's the country. That's the majority of people. No matter how else you cut the vote up to try to make sense of it, I haven't seen very good analysis of like atheists compared to religious people, and Trump got the religious vote because he pretends to care, and Kamala really didn't. And in general, Democrats have the vibe of less reverence, and it's all vibe based. So we lost the internet and we lost the religious vote, and I don't give a fuck what anyone else says. That's like the only things that truly mattered.
Yeah. It's such the wildest thing because he just does not care.
No. He told his generals to open fire at the peaceful protesters of that church where he held the Bible upside down. Yeah. And they told him he was not allowed to fire on them. Like, in front of a church, he wanted to
just shoot him in the legs.
Outrageous, dude.
It's insane. And it's crazy. The one of like, there's the...
He should be from streetlights. It's truly that clear, and it's so fucking frustrating that people on our side are not far more aggressive about it.
Yeah. The activation on the left is it's
because they're hope broken.
You know what it is? It's betrayal.
Yeah.
It's a betrayal. At least that's kind of how it feels. Because I mean,
it is though.
It's not that, again, like I don't like to call myself a Democrat, or it's like I'm not.
I know we're forced to act like it though, because
right. It's like this is just the party that I most agree with, and it's a huge difference from.
I'm getting my Democrat tattoo removed when Trump's in power.
You're gonna have to.
When the Fourth Reich takes over, I can't be caught with my big D tattoo.
When they ship Hitler up from Antarctica.
Bro, we're supposed to be like wacky people that are way too extreme, right? Like there's no reason we should be defending Democrats right now, but it's just that everything's so bizarro clown world right now.
It's really fucked.
So those are my reasons: internet and religion. That's it. What you got? Or do you concur?
I fully concur. Like I guess I was saying, like,
God, make me a campaign manager.
I don't associate with. I don't enjoy the title of like, oh, I'm a Democrat, or I'm a left leaning is the closest that kind of makes sense. Progressive is the term that I like of any of them, but.
That's even farther left.
It's still like I don't. That means so much to so many people, and it doesn't.
I know.
So
I like the lib title. We're retaking libs. Classic liberalism.
Fucking lib cooks. Just when I went in to vote, there was a little bit. There was the biggest amount of. I don't know if it was a pride. I don't know if it was strong enough to say it was like proud of our country or proud of what I did, or
I had a little faux patriotism too.
Yeah, just a little like, oh, that's warm, that's nice. I haven't felt that in a while. And
that's my point is we never should have felt it because we've always been antithetical to and it doesn't mean I'm like not gonna resist farther bullshit, but what we believe is not what America does. And the people in my life that are upset, I think it's important to remember that, not to like fully not try in the future, but that we are not in agreement with the majority.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't have an expectation that they will defend what we want either,
Yeah, it just felt like, I'm trying to think of a metaphor, like everyone's going to go on this trip and everyone's making these plans and everyone's like, oh, we're booking our reservation and we got the hotel and here's our plane tickets and here's the itinerary. And then you show up and no one else is there and you're like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, I got to fucking wash my hair today, or I got to express my dog's anal glands, or whatever fucking bullshit you can come up with. I'm not going to do it. I'm not, like I said, by laziness or by active protest, or I'm trying to think of a third other reason why you could somewhat justify an answer.
They're broken, like truly hopeless on America's future, right? A lot of people are. Like they have fallen to. They think we're in a depression. Like they think.
I get that point of view, but also there is a fork in the road, and one of them is way worse
so
than
clearly,
the other one.
Yeah.
It's obviously worse.
But they think
obviously more against your own personal views and protection.
Here's the thing: we got poisoned by centrists. Anyone that says they're a centrist on the internet, maybe not in real life, anyone on the internet, they all voted for Trump. There's this idea that like just because one party, this is molestation math. Okay, this is something. All animals are not made equal. Some religions are worse than others. A priest that molests 10 kids is worse than the one that molests 10 or 5. Jesus Christ. Whichever religion kills the most people is probably worse, okay? These centrists have poisoned everyone to be hopeless. They say just because the Republicans are stealing power, they're so corrupt, they're so terrible, it's clear that the left is equally as bad.
Yeah.
You can have plenty of gripes with the left, but these things are not made the same.
Yeah.
They're not equal. There are severe problems on both sides, but they're not the same or equal or balanced at all.
They are not as imminent a threat.
At all. And it's the people that both sides it are disgusting. They're they think they're like above the fray, and meanwhile they're just making sure the fray is as bad as it can be or whatever.
Yeah. It reminds me of, so it's also like the people who, when they were talking about like all these tax cuts for the ultra rich, and Biden was talking about all these, we're going to tax the wealthy and shit like that. And it's like people in our tax bracket were freaking out. And it's like, dog, you don't make $300K a year. You're not going to make $300K a year next year or the year after that or the year after that.
Have you heard the reason people are voting against their own tax interests the most?
What's that?
Because they want to be rich one day. They are against the taxes of the ultra rich because they're so deluded by the American dream that they think those taxes could affect them someday.
That's one of the saddest things I think I've ever heard.
It's so pathetic and pretty fucking funny, but it's so pathetic.
Abstractly, it's very funny.
Yeah.
It's you're you're dying in a desert.
To hear people,
I'm big on metaphors today. You're dying in a desert, and you just need some kind of liquid, and you have in your head, you're thinking of the last thing you had, and it was a Mountain Dew, and you're like, oh man, that would be so good right now if I could just get a nice Pepsi Cola drink, just something sugary and tasty and sweet, and then someone comes by with water, and they say, hey, look, we can give you this water and we can take you back to base camp, and you see a mirage in the distance and you're like, I think I'm going to take my chances on finding a Pepsi over there. Find me a Mountain Dew out in the Sahara. I think I can do it.
Dude, it's absolute trickery, right? People have fallen for propaganda and subversion by Russian assets like Elon Musk.
And to lie to yourself so strongly.
It's sad because then when they talk about like why they so desperately want to be rich, there are stories always like, I have 7 kids I can't feed and my life's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, yep, that all tracks.
I mean, it just folds back into the religion thing, right?
It's all religion and social media, internet.
Believing things without any validation or pattern or proof or any kind of evidence to your point, but just believing it because it just feels good today.
And that's truly why I feel like we need to go full rejectionist. Fuck this country, fuck your God, fuck all this shit. Like, anything that doesn't make sense is fully rejected without any empathy. Denounce God and country. We will form our own land.
I'll take it one step further, Stephen.
Do it. Fuck hope.
I'm buying plastic straws tomorrow.
Dude, why not?
I'm using those. I'm buying, those
fuck this whole earth.
The 6-packs with the little plastic 8-ring thing or 6-ring thing on them.
And I was just going to drop them in every body of water in the local tri-state area.
Take them to the aquarium. Just fuck it.
I'm just gonna strangle ducks every night while I'm at it.
Yeah, I'll go around my neighborhood. I'll steal car batteries and throw them in the ocean. throw them in my local lakes and rivers and streams.
I just do that once a week, but that's
just to feel something.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So fucked.
The sentiment of it, I do think less intolerable things should be tolerated. And I think people that feel similar to us have, and it's really hard because, like, what happens if a bunch of people do get deported on the other side of the country? There's nothing we can do.
Right.
But it still shouldn't be tolerated. One way or another, there has to be things we try, or like people similar to us. Like there has to be things, or it'll never stop, or whatever. I think that's a discussion for another day. Do you have any unresolved thoughts? I have one more complete diversion and escapism from this we can bounce to before closing.
The only thing I do have is, on that point of, and I agree. It is. I don't want to get super deep into this because I think it's a full rabbit hole in itself. But I'd like to hear your thought on it. I think I know your thoughts on it. The problem with making the line in the sand and saying this is what's tolerable, this is what's not. This is where we're going to stop playing devil's advocate to bullshit. The problem with that happening, or with not with it happening, but the chances of it happening, is I feel like, I mean, as you said earlier, the right is in line with themselves, at least to a degree. There are,
they're unified.
Yeah, there are some faction of like, I don't agree with that fully, but like I still stand by this person.
Absolutely.
I still stand in support.
Yeah. The hive mind collective. Dead brain losers.
The left is so...
We cannibalize ourselves. It's
so nebulous. There are so many, like, you're not empathetic enough about this. You're not, by not hearing the bullshit, by not, giving a chance to this thing, you're doing exactly what they're doing. And that's wrong. We see that as wrong, so we can't do that. And
there are solutions.
Yeah. And it's finding...
You want the platform?
Yeah.
Here's the win.
Finding the thing that really makes... the thing that we can all stand behind and fucking just show up on election day.
You want the winning platform?
Sure.
It's so easy. It's so obvious, and it is outright neglect that they haven't done this yet. The left cannibalizes its own because there's always going to be a group farther left that wants more empathy, more understanding, farther progressive values, so they cut out their own, right? They eat each other.
Yeah.
The entire platform almost needs to be similar to an ex-Republican never-Trumper, right? The only values that matter, that should put all of us unified, right? Like, there's still plenty of room for disagreement and discussion and debate, but all that fucking matters is democratic values, women's rights, gay, whatever rights, and some sort of path towards better immigration stuff. Maybe some drug decriminalization, which I'm definitely very much for. And then they need to fucking drop the gun control shit.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Yeah, winning ticket every fucking time. It's so easy. Drop a lot of the more extreme socialism stuff. Like, even though I like a lot of it, there are ways to do that without it being through the Democratic Party. It just needs to be the bare minimum basics. And it's so easy.
Fucking basic human rights and autonomy.
It's so, because...
And just you can that's it. It's like you call it there.
Because the Republicans have no platform. Like they have
there's nothing there.
It's so easy. We don't need a million like offshoots of other shit. We just need to let anybody who agrees with these core American values that the things I just listed fit is fucking unified, right? And we can discuss everything else and figure it out. But if those things are not in place, you can't do anything. And we can't get enough of us to agree with even that shit, so that we just fucking eat each other.
I thought for sure that Kamala and Tim Walz were going to gain some more traction from the Republican Party by, I forget
they leaned
when it
center.
was.
They did the center lean.
There was some interview in particular
they said
that
they had
did.
Guns.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, no one's trying to take your guns. We both
that
carry."
Hurt them because people on our side are fucking idiots too.
Yeah,
they're so fucking stupid to try to hold on to this anti-gun shit when the majority of the country does not give a shit, and they're the ones that will have the gun still. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you're fighting to lose power.
Yeah, exactly.
And like any credit or appreciate, like whatever, you're fighting to lose by gun control shit. It's so stupid. Incredibly frustrating. And like a lot of the people in real life I know, like, agree with that. It's like, it's like the death knell of democratic values ever having a majority is gun control.
Maybe is this the opportunity? Is this the calling card for? Is it a hill that we want to stand on? Of, hey, everyone who, maybe you lean left, maybe you were,
buy a rocket launcher.
Like he had conflicted feelings on guns before. Go get your fucking CPL, dog.
They won't. I don't see it changing anytime soon. Because it's an empathy problem. It's an actual thought problem and a abuse of empathy. Almost all fucking gun crime is gang shit. It's dudes that are going to do this no matter what. You can't take away illegal guns. There's more guns than people. Like, any gun control just secedes all power to Republicans. Yeah, and gang shit's not going to stop by taking away guns. It changes by other ways. It's like, education, like childhood poverty, like all of that other shit. It doesn't change by trying to take their guns. Like, you can look at the UK, they'll just fucking stab each other to death. Like, that's what young men do, especially like that are poor. Like, that, there's no changing that by taking away pieces of metal. It's like the actual most ignorant, enlightened view is like, oh, just get rid of the metal guns and no one will bleed again.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah, I get really frustrated about that. I'm a gun person that doesn't like guns, but to take them away is just will never ever fucking work in this country.
Yeah, there's always a thing that like what are they gonna like? What's the situation in which that could possibly feasibly work? There's no way it would turn out well.
No,
but like you would have to have fucking the military.
Yeah, only militaries and criminals can have guns now.
I mean, no, you would have you would have to, if you're trying to go like door to door taking people's guns. That's the kind of firepower you need, because that's the moment that people are like, this is why we have the guns, is for this moment right here when the government tries to oversee their step and tries to take this away from me.
Yeah.
If they're taking this away from me, then I need to defend myself, and that's going to get nasty. But the thing that drives me nuts about it is the party that for years spouted that of like, you're not coming to my house and taking my guns. You're not going door to door and doing this. Like, there's no way. It's not going to happen. Not going to let it happen. This shit, this, that, and the other. Is also willing to stand on the hill of, we're going to take people who immigrated to this country, whether illegally or not, and we're going to have them deported. And these are people that have jobs, work in our,
they're the backbone of the economy.
Yeah, they build our infrastructure. Running. They keep, yeah, exactly. This is a gigantic portion of the working class of this country, and you're removing that.
They want to reenact
you're going to
the rise of Nazi Germany just
billions of dollars.
Yeah,
to fuck this up.
Spend billions of dollars to abuse millions of people to cost the economy trillions of dollars.
It's fucking insane.
And it's all for like a
financially conservative. What's happening?
The conservatives that outspend the Dems every presidential term.
It's fucking crazy.
Very frustrating. All right.
Yeah. So walk us out of here. You said you had a thing.
Yeah. Fuck politics. We have 4 years to continue coping and snating. All right. Here's the question. It's a would you rather. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is I can't fucking talk to it. This is a philosophy question. Okay. All right. Ignore your house. Right. Take houses out of the equation. The land you live in does not matter. Okay. Delete. It's just your physical possessions. Okay? Imagine all your physical possessions. Okay?
Got it. Yep.
Now, where you live, there's about to be a cataclysmic weather event. It could either be a flood or a fire. If it's a flood, all of your possessions are now destroyed. But because it's water damage, you can see what was destroyed. When you return to your property, you can see all your possessions completely unsalvageable, and you can see how each thing is just made useless and will have to be trashed, right?
Yeah.
Or you return to your property and you see where all your possessions were, and it was a fire, and everything has just vanished. You never get to see the damage that happened. It's all just gone, and you can't quite remember what things were there and weren't, or if you still had that thing, or where that photo went. They're all just gone. That's the question. Would you rather everything you own be destroyed by a fire or a flood?
Now, of course, for insurance claims purposes.
Insurance doesn't exist in this timeline.
I was going to say
Trump's made it another term.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. I feel like
also you don't have a house because Trump was president.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Cool.
It's just whatever was in your shopping cart. Okay.
Yeah.
in your internment camp.
In my tent. My makeshift tarp tent. I think that. I mean, I think I'm leaning towards flood, but there's something I've always kind of found I kind of romanticize about the idea of in a fire situation and everything's gone. The cleanest, freshest start.
You're a phoenix from the ashes, baby.
But also, I feel like the trauma of that, the shock of that would be a lot harder to get through.
It's the unburdening.
I mean, maybe not, because I don't know, man. Depends on how depressed I am that week.
That's fair. I feel like there's something super romantic about water damage things.
Just you don't replace anything, you just keep it all.
Like
nothing works and all your books are fucked.
Like to see the molding and like the physical destruction, the decay, and where you can still like feel the essence of the object, but it's made unusable forever, and you know you can't keep it because it'd be disgusting or ruin more shit.
Yeah.
There's something romantic about water damaged items.
Oh, I absolutely do feel that. When they show like whatever deep sea excursions and they find like shit on the bottom of the ocean and it's like relics of the past kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it's like all rusted over and there's like barnacles on it and shit. And there's like,
it's romantic.
Reefs and shit like living in it. And it's like, that especially I think is a very fun vibe.
On the other hand, I feel like fire's the way of the future. Okay. We don't need to be burdened by the knowing of loss. Yeah. Sometimes it's better to fucking forget. We're not meant to remember everything. Yeah. And it's probably a lot better just let it all go.
I definitely don't disagree with that.
I choose fire every time. Fuck water. I don't want to know what I lost. I just want to mourn it in the background processing of my mind forever.
I think I was going to say that was going to be my argument for like having that
the closure of water.
Yeah, it's closure. Yeah, it'd be closure.
Fuck closure.
Closure's for soft boys.
But what has closure ever helped with? Have you ever had closure help anything? It's just like a trap. Like you think you get something, like, oh, I have one more conversation, I'll feel closure. It's like, no, never goes that way. Nothing has ever been closed, okay? we like doorways open and full of fire. Fuck closure.
To circle back to a previous point I made earlier of the trauma and grief feeling of when my grandparents died and trying to piece together the pieces of what happened in the like just 15-30 minutes before that happened. I could use a little bit of closure. See, I'm not sure how much it would hurt or help, but
it's romanticized closure. Like the real version of closure is like it's a bad conversation.
My perception of whatever happened. I mean, that's really what it is like when you don't have the answer, you make up your own. And you just have to sit with that.
Well, I feel like an honest answer is like real closure probably is always good, but how often does that happen? Like life doesn't typically work that way.
Yeah.
Where like the chance of getting that is low for what you're losing.
The times when closure is probably important is the time when you're not getting it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like I need to talk to them one more time to make sure they know how I feel about it's like whatever. You maybe I don't know. It's not that important in the grand scheme of shit.
No, fire's always better than water, and that's why you should always choose fire type over water type Pokemon.
Every time.
Charizard wins.
Charizard wins. But if I choose Squirtle, then you're fucked.
No, because my Charizard will be so much, and you'd be a fool for choosing Squirtle. You should probably choose the highest evolution.
Well, like you don't get to choose the highest evolution. You choose the lowest.
I chose Charizard because I'm a real Pokemon master. Okay?
you just name your Charmander Charizard. And then it's
yeah, one way or another, you have to cheat the elections like the dirty Republicans. Okay,
to just rig it and move on with life. Scorch the earth. Name your Charmander Charizard.
This whole end
name
of
your Squirtle Charizard
has been a metaphor to inspire all the arsonists in our listener base. Take that, feds. We're glowing tonight.
We have maybe, just less than a dozen listeners.
And they're all arsonists. under our direct control.
I was going to say, we feel like we're safe, like we're narrowcasting, but like all it takes is one. All it takes is one, and then they go and like, what was he listening to? Oh, it was the trash cast. They catch the guy, and they're like, and I'm assuming it's a guy. It's got to be a guy.
And under the new freedom of speech.
Based on our analytics, it's a dude.
and under the new freedom of speech laws enacted by the Trump ministry, we're definitely going to prison.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't want to, I don't want it to come across as that. I don't think women are capable of arson, but just like I said, based on our analytics of our listenership, it would be a dude that does the arson.
Yeah, based on the stats, but we got cool ladies out there.
Women can burn down a church if they want to,
and they will.
God damn it. And they will on March 26th.
Shut up. I have to bleep that part. I actually have to bleep that. You just broke the Brandenburg status. That's so fucking funny. All right, let's get out of here. We'll fix the country next week.
I can't wait to sleep. I think I got 2 hours last night. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John.
Make sure to check out the show page at Trash Kit. It's fucked up. I haven't messed that up in a long time.
Whatever you say.
Do I fuck it up all the time?
I don't know. I just thought that's the funniest answer I could give.
Make sure to check out the show page at Trashcast on Instagram for news and art from the show. Check out Facebook for the memes.
And besides, I couldn't talk all fucking night. I can't say words. If you're supporting, you
can't say one word.
Ideology. I just can't. I can write it. I can't spell it right, but I can write it. You can check out my art on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZSEX. We had an episode we were going to do tonight, and we delayed it because we needed the cope session. But we got a cool episode coming up, some culinary arts that will be exciting, and some other stuff that's top secret. So appreciate you guys sticking around, for real.
I'm sure
fireflies out there.
I'm sure it's going to be a welcome distraction from whatever's happening in 2 weeks.
The Holocaust 2.0.
Yeah. God damn.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Bro, we're going to do it so much better this time.
Yeah.
This Holocaust is going to be way better with Trump in charge. It's going to be really cool.
Fucking... They bring back public hangings and guillotines and shit. I mean, I said that as a joke just now, but they totally did bring a fucking guillotine to the, or was it gallows?
Gallows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard the best thing, like the newest heroin, like the fentanyl with the sedative, the Xyla, whatever in it?
No, I haven't heard that.
We've talked about this. The new, instead of heroin doesn't exist anymore, it's just fentanyl, and now they cut it with xylocaine or some shit. It's an animal trank that Narcan does not work on.
Oh, super cool.
We've talked about that. They're calling it Heroin 2. Which is the funniest shit ever. Heroin 1's long gone. We updated and patched out the Heroin shit. 2. We're Narcan immune, baby. And
we're on the sequel, baby.
Dude, it's so good.
Hey, listen. We got Heroin 2 before we got GTA 6.
Oh, the memes, bro.
That's all
the meme. Yeah, I know. I don't get it. The whole the GTA roleplay shit, the RP, out of control. All these.
Is that a thing too?
Oh yeah, it's all these kids just sexting as Grand Theft Auto characters and putting it online. It's very odd. Very big though. Very popular.
Whatever happened to LiveJournal? Just go on there and write down your horrible, dark secrets and fantasies, and just anonymously, and just let it disappear and fade into the internet.
I miss blogs, and we started podcasting far too late. Podcasting is dead, bro. We chose an ancient medium. Oh my god!
I mean, we did start a podcast at the same time when everyone else started a podcast,
and it sucks because we did it independently. but that's probably what everyone who started during COVID.
Yeah, I'll say that. Well, also, to be fair, most of the podcasts that started then aren't still going anymore. So
Yeah,
they all got jobs, and they don't need to, and they don't want to anymore.
Which you would think, some of those plays would funnel on down, but guess that's not how the internet works.
That's the new platform that we should get behind, is that we just need to get everyone to listen to this. If everyone listened to our podcast, they would all agree with us. We're the most sane individuals that...
Unfortunately, in our realm of the internet, it's a dark place, and we're a bright, burning firebomb.
Unfortunately, we're the beacon of hope.
It's not good. But, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast, eat trash.
Forgot we were recording a podcast there.
That's okay. We officially coped with this election. We'll be fine now.
Oh, yep. It's all good. It's all gravy. All water under the boat. 4 more years. Let's get it cracking.
Get it cracking.